giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Happy Friday. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, sponsored by the Cocker Firm and Boston Scientific. I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! It's Friday, man. I'm feeling good. I hope y'all are feeling good. Got a cool little show lined up. Something a little different. We're going to play a game of I Said What I Said. Of course, we're going to talk about the X Factors. And then in the roundup, big move was made by an NFC foe. Should the Cowboys join in? You know, we talked about that yesterday. Should Dallas look to make a trade too? But we'll see just how big that move will impact the entire league, the entire NFC. But we'll dive into all of that. If you want to call in, of course you can. 351-999-3787. And if you saw the intro there, I fixed a few things. A lot of people been getting on me. Take off Randy Gregory, yada, yada, yada. So hopefully by Monday, it's going to be an entirely different intro. Anyway, so we'll see what's up with that one, man. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
James already. We don't do stuff like that. We don't. But we're going to talk about it anyway, man. We will. If y'all want to keep along with the with me on Twitter, you can. Ask Skywalker Still. You can find it right there. There you go. Scrolling around in the DFW turf ticker. The number one artificial turf in the DFW area. The phone line is also there. Again, 351-999-3787. If you don't know it by heart by now, you can still call in. Should be a fairly easy show, man. I said what I said game, but we'll see how that sticks. We'll have a little fun with that. And then that'll lead us into our X Factors. And the rest, man, it's up to y'all. Should be a very, very chill, easy, simple show today as we head into our weekend. I hope you guys are good out there. I know we got a lot of truck drivers out there. Be safe. We got a lot of folks that are at work right now. Make sure y'all don't get in trouble listening to us. But I hope y'all are having a good Friday. It is time for the weekend, and it is time for the roundup. Let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. I see you, 49ers. I see you out there. I see you. I'm really interested. Before we move on to the rest of the Cowboys stuff, let's just sit on this a little bit. I want to know how y'all feel about this move that the San Francisco 49ers made last night during the New Orleans Saints game. Cardinals game. Crazy game that was. The Panthers trade Christian McCaffrey, CMC, to the 49ers, and they receive 2023 second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, and fifth round pick. So torn on this. I just would not trade all of that for a running back, right? Especially a running back that gets often injured like Christian McCaffrey. And especially if I'm a team that literally can go find a running back at Costco's and they can rush for 1,000 yards and be productive. Now, CMC different when healthy. He's different. I get it. He can do so many things. 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard back. He's a dynamic running back. But man, a second, third, fourth, and fifth for an oft injured guy, and he hasn't been injured this year. yet, missed games. But, man, how y'all feel about that? There was a report out, not a report, but a tweet out there, I think, from Adam Schefter that said, would help the 49ers pull off the trade for Christian McCaffrey was that they had 6 extra third-round compensatory draft picks granted to them for losing Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniels, and Martin Mayhew to the Commanders in recent off seasons. Meaning, they passed that new whatever you want to call it in the CBA, where if a minority coach is taken off of your team and hired by another team, you get a third-round compensatory pick. So they had 6 extra ones over the next few years. So they won't be without a third-round pick. In fact, they'll still have 2 third-round picks next year, but they won't have a first or a second-round pick. So that's what I mean by I'm torn. But before I get to the next question, and y'all aren't Niner fans, I get it. We might have a Niner fan up in here, but too much or just right for Christian McCaffrey, man? A lot of y'all are saying no. That's a lot. Too much draft capital for a running back. Horrible trade. The 29er. They did too much for Trey. And that's what's crazy, right? Like, they traded up to get Trey. And, he might not even be the guy for him right now. Whew. 4 players for a running back. El Paso. Panthers going to have a whole new team, yeah, for sure. All that for CMC. Everybody is saying too much. I'm with you. Now, listen. It may pay off, right? It may pay off. He may get into the playoffs and be an important piece for them or whatnot. But it has to. I mean, you trade all that for him, you have to get back to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying on the back of CMC, but you got to be a lot of it, man. That's a lot. I'm sorry. For a running back. Now, the follow-up question or the follow-up thought for Cowboys fans, and I already seen it in the chat. I've seen it on Twitter. I even thought about it. Should the Cowboys get involved? Specifically with the Panthers. Because clearly they're on their way out. And the first name that is going to pop up, that has already popped up, is wide receiver DJ Moore. Here's why I don't see it happening. They just paid Michael Gallup a whole lot of money. We'll see what happens with CeeDee Lamb. I feel like they want to pay CeeDee Lamb, and he's eligible next year. Doesn't mean they'll do it. He still can play another 2 more years, I believe it is, on his rookie deal. And they would have to admit they were basically lying about the Amari Cooper situation, saying that it was all about the money. We know it wasn't, but that's what they told the public. Because DJ Moore has the same contract, essentially, as Amari Cooper had. So, man, listen, I would love DJ Moore on this team. Sure, pick up the phone and see what's up. But I just have a hard time thinking that Stephen Jones is going to trade high draft capital, because it's going to take a first or second round pick minimum to get DJ Moore in here. With that said, it's happened. 4 or 5 years ago, it happened. They went out, they traded for Amari Cooper, and the rest was history. But DJ Moore seems a bit far-fetched. Would love it, but seems far-fetched. If you're looking in Carolina, what about Derek Brown? What about Brian Burns? Those are defensive guys. I know Cowboys are looking for more offensive players, but I'm still about stacking this defense, because I feel like it's what is going to carry you throughout this season. And Brian Burns is a fantastic edge rusher. I know Dorrance Armstrong's doing his thing and whatnot, but I feel like Brian is a better player. And that's not a knock on Dorrance. It's just more talent. And you say, well, Scott, how are you going to fit Brian Burns in with the rest of those guys? I mean, trade Dante Fowler with it. You know what I'm saying? And now you got Dorrance and Brian Burns over there. Derek Brown is a defensive tackle. He's not quite the Jonathan Allens of the world, but I think he's in that second tier. A lot of people want one of these run guys to put on this team. And if you're looking for a run guy, I think a Derek Brown, I don't think it is going to cost you a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth round pick 4 different picks for a Derrick Brown, so you might be able to get Derrick Brown for a late day 2, early day 3 pick. I'll take a look in on that. So those are the 2 guys I'm looking at. I know some people are going to say J.C. Horn. I don't know if they're going to give up on a guy that early, but yeah, man, I'd pick up the phone in Carolina. Hey, who else y'all got on the block? Shaq Thompson. Yeah, that's another one, Twan. I love Shaq Thompson. I think he's a fantastic linebacker. Shaq Thompson will be a good one. And I'm just looking at Carolina, by the way, y'all. I know there's other teams that you can do it. And you know what? Yeah. Pick up the horn. Call somebody. Stephen Jones talked about, trading for or acquiring older players in the middle of the season for playoff runs. Well, Stephen, this is your chance. The NFC is ripe for the pickings. Make a move, man. Back to Cowboys news. Matt Waletzko suffered that shoulder subluxation, whatever, in practice yesterday for the 3rd time in a year. 2 people familiar with the situation said rookie needs surgery and is expected to miss the rest of the season, per Michael Gelkin. I think we all saw this coming. We talked about this after he suffered the injury and the reports came out. It was an injury he's going to need surgery on. He's just putting it off. Well, at some point, it's going to come up again. And it came up. Now he hasn't been a factor in the season, but, man, he's been holding a roster spot. Maybe that could go to someone else. I don't know. Maybe they call up Carlos. Maybe they bring up Carlos Watkins. Not sure. But we'll see what they do. Yes, I think last week they had an extra spot open. Now they may have an extra spot or 2 open. So we'll see what they do with that one. But Matt Waletzko, rookie 5th round pick. The Amari Cooper trade pick out for the season. And then finally, a very interesting stat that Gelkin also tweeted yesterday. He said the Cowboys during week 1 had a league high 8 penalties on offense, including 4 false starts by our guy Terrence. Since then, only 10 penalties, 5 full starts, 3rd fewest flags of any NFL offense in the past 5 games. Salute. I don't know if that's the coaching staff or whatever, because I know we like to pin it on the coaching staff. But to go from 8 penalties in week 1 to 10 penalties over the last 5 games, little things like that, I think, add up once you get your QB1 back, right? I think it was on Vosh and Boy Live. We were talking about how the Cowboys' penalties have been cleaned up offensively. They're making their field goals. They're getting help from their special teams. Those small things are going to help your offense and your team in general, but your offense, period. And now you get a better player returning. That on top of that's going to help it. Think about it. Last year, we had to deal with Greg Zuerlein missing kicks early, missing extra points, missing 3 points on the board. So far so good with our guy Brett Maher. He hasn't done that. Last year, the Cowboys were dealing with a whole bunch of holding penalties. A ton of them. A whole bunch of offensive penalties. It's been cleaned up. So, if that continues, on top of getting Dak Prescott back, you may not have the offense you had in weeks 1 through 7 last year, the top high-flying offense, or even against the Washington football people last year or the Eagles at the end of the year. But you still, I think, will have a productive offense that plays complementary football to your defense. So they got to keep that up, man. They got to keep that up. D.A. Lee says, so once again, the Amari trade is a fail. Yeah, man. That one sucks. Big Sar said, if we blame the coaches for the penalties, then we must give credit for the decrease in penalties. I agree. I think heading into last week, the Cowboys were something like 7th in the league since week 1, a tie for penalties, tie for 7th. I take it. I take it, man. All right, let's get into this next segment. Try to think of something different. Something kind of fun to play with, play along with you guys, and listen to what some of the players had to say. So this is what we're going to do. The segment is called I Said What I Said. A player spoke in the locker room or at a press conference, whatever it may be, and I will read their quote. You guys will have to guess who said it, and then we'll take a listen to them and we'll talk on that. So, first up, in the I Said What I Said.
I said what I said.
Here's the quote.
A lot of things I wouldn't necessarily share, but I know will help me and this team moving forward.
I'll repeat that.
A lot of things I wouldn't necessarily share, but I know it will help me and this team moving forward.
Who said that?
I said what I said.
Mr. Jab says McCarthy. King Element says McCarthy. Scotty, Spock, Peter said Dak. Captain America said, I know it ain't Kellen. Johnny said Jerry. Gene says Dak. Nikki said Dak himself. Oh, him Scott. That's interesting. A lot of y'all are correct. It was one Dak Prescott, and he was talking about what he learned and how it helped him. So let's take a listen to Dak Prescott speaking to reporters yesterday.
What were you able to learn over the last few weeks, during games, especially being able to be on the sideline and see everything, because it was different than the last?
Yeah, a lot, honestly. A lot and a lot of things that I wouldn't necessarily share, but I know it's going to help me and help this team moving forward. Whether it's helping certain players, just staying ahead of the communication aspect, whether it be with the players, whether it be with the coaches, communicating with the defense, just the team, making sure that they stay together, understand that we're in this together. I learned a lot. And as disappointing as it was really, really fun and a great time for me just to grow and to learn more about this team that, honestly, I hadn't been able to see from that perspective. Being hurt before, I was gone when I hurt my ankle, right? I wasn't necessarily around trying to get that right. And then so being here during this time, not missing anything, seeing the game, seeing everything the way that it plays out, I think it'll be huge moving forward.
Yeah, this kind of meshes with what he said a few weeks ago when he elaborated about how excited he was because he sees things differently. And I don't want to gloss over what he said at the end of that, where last time I was hurt, this is the first time in my career I was able to see things from this perspective. Last year, or 2 years ago, when I got hurt, I was away from the team. I wasn't in meetings. I wasn't on the sideline. I wasn't on the field because of the not being on IR. He was able to be on the field. He was able to talk to these guys. He was able to do so many different things he wasn't when he was hurt before. And last year he was out one game. So it was about surviving one game and then getting back in there and really, if we're being honest, probably rushing back in there, no pun intended, and trying to get back on track. I don't know. It's a feel thing for me. I just truly do feel like the time away, Dak talked about it. Zeke talked about it. Micah talked about it. It will make him and this team better. Sometimes you do have to step back to see the whole picture, right? And to understand certain things. And I know one of the things that a lot of people have said was, not having to carry the weight of the entire team, right? Not having to try to make every single big time play. Not that he does that all the time, but he does do that, right? So I think just taking a step back and seeing the team in a different perspective will help him. I mean, again, and he's also going into that realm of his career where a quarterback hits that, 29, 30 plus, and all of them say the same thing. You see the game completely different the older you get. You just do. We'll take a call. Somebody just called in. We'll take a call real quick, and then we'll get to the second part. We got 3 of them. We get to the second part of I Said What I Said. Pulse of the Nation Hotlines presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 05, y'all know my guys Larry and Brian. down at the Cochran firm. They've been holding it down for the DFW area, the DFW community. They've been fighting for you. They take all types of challenging civil cases, including personal injury, wrongful death, fraud, truck and automobile accidents, class action, and many more. If this sounds like something that you need help with, need to know about, hit up the Cochran firm at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. These guys make it easy. You won't have any trouble discussing your situation, and they make you feel comfortable. So hit them up, 1-800-THE-FIRM, or visit CochranTexas.com. I believe we got 512. What it is, what it do?
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Hey, what's going on, Scott? First time caller, long time listener, man. Nice talking to you.
Hey, man, appreciate you calling. I appreciate you listening, and feel free to always call. What's up with you?
Hey, man, just wanted to call a little bit on some Cowboys football, man.
All right.
It's glad to have Dak back, man. I've been listening to you and Vach here for a long time. Every time on 3 o'clock, I'm out here in the Austin area. I just want to let you know this weekend I will be at the Lions game. I will be there at Texas Live if you'll be there, and I'll come up and say some good words to you, man.
Thank you, man. So if you come, B-Bird, I think will be there as well. If y'all are here, we will be at the Miller Lite House or Miller Lite Room. It's the first room to the right when you come into the main entrance. So come check us out.
Oh, perfect, man. Hey, appreciate you, man. I'll get out your way, man.
Oh, well, got anything for the game, or just wanted to call in and just chat for a little bit?
Oh, the game, man. Honestly, as long as we come in and we can manage to stick to what we were doing, but add a little bit more spice with it with Dak, I feel like we'll be in a good position. I feel like the defense that last week, that kind of ruffled their feathers a little bit, and I feel like they'll get back to it. Now, granted, all week y'all been talking about the linebacker play.
Yeah.
And maybe us rotating some stuff in and out of there. I was just hearing you talk about more like DTs that we can go out there or even DN, some edge rushers too as well that we can possibly go look at. But I just feel like all in all, man, we're in a good place. Granted, that last game, I'm sure a lot of people were uneasy, but just like you and Vach, I felt good coming out of that game. I felt like despite us not getting a rhythm in that first half, Philly really didn't do anything. Like that whole second half, there was no action out of them. We kind of put a stick on them. Kellen finally opened up, and I feel like this entire season here is all going to lie in the hands of Kellen Moore. Because at a certain point, if I'm a defensive coordinator like a Dan Quinn, and we know firsthand that you guys are looking at us to come through and stick it to them every game. I mean, we've been putting up good numbers. Sacks are getting up. We haven't seen a defensive line like this in a while. So I just feel like we can't expose them with bad offensive play.
Right.
We can't sit there and get cute just like y'all were the other day. I was laughing. Y'all were talking about how Kellen Moore gets way too excited.
They're already in the damn chat with that Kellen Moore stuff. I was going to say that as soon as you hung up. Like, y'all got to chill, man.
My girl is a nurse. She's a nurse at school right now, and she was next to me doing homework.
No,
and
was
we
she
were
listening?
both sitting there. That we were dying laughing.
Tell your lady I'm so sorry. Tell the ladies listening.
Oh, I know. Every Sunday she hears me, and I'm back and forth. It just with the TV, with Anthony Brown, Kellen Moore, Jordan Lewis. So she knows these people. She knows specifically who I'm going after, and she knows for sure Kellen Moore is on that. He's on that list, man. But hopefully him and Dak, they can keep stuff smooth. I don't want Dak to actually come back and feel like he has to overexude and do too much, because that's not the case. We have a solid running game with a solid O-line that some may have thought maybe coming into the season that we didn't have. Yeah. But it turned out to be better than what we thought. It turned
out to be better, man. I think they'll keep it going, though. But let me get to some other callers and get to the next part of our segment, man. Appreciate you, big dog.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate you, Scott.
Yes, sir. That's pretty cool. You know, when your girl, like King Element said, when your girl knows the memes, I think that's pretty damn cool. But we listen. When we do these things, we're just having fun. We're just having fun. We're not trying to offend anyone. And he didn't even have to bring up Kellen. I look over at the chat. The whole damn chat's just lighting Kellen. Kellen Moore just.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Oh, God. Bro, y'all crazy. Let's get to the next part of I said what I said.
I said what I said.
All right, here we go. Who said this quote?
This week, I'm looking to hush everything up.
This week, I'm looking to hush everything up. Who said this quote? I'll repeat it. This week, I'm looking to hush everything up. L says Satan. Yeah. D-Law. So I said LVE. Micah. I'm dying at Satan. As long as my girl don't know how to play 2K. Oh, Lord. Facts. Diggs. Adrian says Diggs. Scotty says CD. Micah. Dan Snyder. Y'all crazy, man. Okay. The answer is 1. Micah Parsons. Micah was talking about his self-evaluation and kind of how the Eagles attacked him. So let's take a listen to Micah Parsons speaking on hushing everybody up.
Micah, what can you take from the Eagles game in terms of, like, what did that film teach you about your game and how you can respond to the coming opponents?
I just got to own in on my craft and get better this week. I personally made self-adjustments, analyzed with coaches. I sat down with them on things that I could do to be better and how I could fix my game. And this week, I'm just looking to hush everything up,
Did they scheme and try to come at you?
Honestly, if you know football, they didn't really try to come after me. If you look at their offense, you can say they scheme everyone. They run an RPO offense. Everything's read option. You got to worry about Hurts like he's a problem. And when you have problems in the league, you got to focus on them. So,
yeah, that goes back to what we were saying all week leading up to that game and then all week since the game, right? Is that RPO with a running quarterback is difficult to deal with, especially if your offense is not matching it. What I mean is if your offense is not forcing them out of that, they'll just continue to do it, right? Playing 11 on 11 in the run game is hard, man. It truly is. You're not really going to be tasked to do that for quite some time, not probably until week 16 again, right? If they're not resting guys. But he said some other things that right after that, but I wanted to stop it because the next quote is going to be about what he was about to say. But you could tell he was pissed off about how that game went. And now I'm not talking about necessarily from a game planning standpoint, although that you could maybe call that into question too. But I love the fact that he self-evaluated himself. He went in there with the coaches and figured out, okay, how can we make this better? How can I be better in a game like this? So that was Micah Parsons talking about, I'm looking to hush everything up. Basically, a lot of people are saying, we found the blueprint on Micah. No, you didn't. I don't think you did. I think you just dealt with a scheme that was really good. They know how to run it. They do it well. And now you have to now combat it. That's all. You got to find a way to combat it. Interesting. Thank you, Lemitra. I keep hearing trap game. Trap game. Lemitra said this is not a trap game. I don't think it's a trap game. First of all, you're coming off of a loss, number one. You're coming off of a loss where your defense is pissed. You're coming off of a loss where your offense turned the ball over 4 times. There should be nothing about going into this game eating any cheese, whatever make-believe cheese there is coming off of a loss. This isn't week 1. This isn't of last year, I'm sorry. Week 1 of last year where you're like, man, we put up a fight. We dropped 29 on them. We had the lead with 1:12 left. Blah, 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 blah. No. You lost to a division rival where they was talking ish to you after the game. Your defense didn't have 2 good drives that pretty much cost the game, right? Your offense gave them the ball 4 times. Nothing about this is trap, in my opinion, especially when you look at, the Detroit offense that can put up some points on you. So I agree. I don't think this is a trap game, Cowboys Nation. In the trap house. Yeah, it's not a good matchup for Detroit. Deshaun, what's goody, man?
What's good, Sky? So
What's up with you?
pretty much, not nothing much. Pretty much, I feel like me personally, it's not a trap game either. You just got to stick to the game plan. Me personally, if Dak throws 20 to 25 passes, that'd be fine. At this point, I don't care how we win. I just care that we win. I don't care if we win by 3, by 7. It doesn't matter to me at this point. I just want to rack up W's so we can get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's me. That's where I'm coming from. And I think what's been hindering Dallas for so long is that Dak, every time Dak comes back or Dak starts, he feels like he has to do everything because, he's a $40 million quarterback. He's the person that we're paying all this money for, and I just need him to win.
Every time?
That's just what it is. Huh?
Every time? Or are you just being hyperbole?
Every time. If he can, the way, how we've been winning is a great way to win throughout the season. Running the ball wastes clock. It keeps the other opponent off the sideline, to the sideline.
The reason why I said every time is because I was trying to trap you here. Did you forget the first 6 weeks last year?
True.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't go out there trying to do everything. It was complimentary football. And then for whatever reason, after the injury, it just didn't turn into that. Maybe we couldn't block anymore, and then he felt, all right, we're not running well. I do got to feel like I got to do everything at this point. But I don't want to get in too much hyperbole. I don't think Dak is out there every single play trying to do everything himself, right? I think that's becoming a bit hyperbole because we've seen a guy like Cooper Rush do pretty much nothing from the quarterback standpoint to elevate the team around him except for not screw it up until he screwed it up. That we're like, oh, all right, Dak, just go in there and don't screw it up. A little bit, don't want to use the term disrespectful, but we acting like Dak Prescott's Cooper Rush. He's not, right? Dak Prescott can still do a lot of good things at the quarterback position. What we don't want Dak to do, Cooper Rush to do, whomever to do, is throw the ball 40 times a game. That's what we don't want to do, right? But if Dak has to get out there and air it out, I think we feel confident, well, you should, that Dak Prescott can air it out. We've seen him do that. We just don't want to have to get to that point because if we're getting to that point, what does that mean, Deshaun? We probably can't run the ball or we're probably losing.
Mm-hmm. 1-2. So me personally, I feel like a lot relies on Kellen Moore. But one thing I started to realize when I looked at the tape last game, Dan Quinn did a lot of things that I wasn't expecting him to do. Like the one where he brought Micah back into coverage and he sent LB in.
Freaking hated that.
And he got stonewalled. And so I'm like, okay, then, you're kind of getting a little bit too cute on me. I think Kellen Moore's going to rub off on too many people now, Scott.
Say that again?
Because I think Kellen Moore's going to rub off on too many people.
You think he's rubbing off on Dan?
Yes, he's doing a little too many cute stuff, man.
I ain't
at
like
first
that.
he came in, it was. So hopefully the defense get back to where it is. I know they're pissed off. I know Micah, D-Law, everybody's mad as hell. So hopefully we end it where it is and then we get back on track. So.
My man.
But thanks, guy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Sean. Yeah, I didn't like that one. I think I explained that to y'all Tuesday when I went and looked. Sending LVE and then dropping. That was a play. I think the second string tight end got a 22-yard gain or something like that. And you saw Micah hesitate. He was on it at first. And you saw the other guy going this way. So he was like, do I gotta go over here? And that dude was open too. I think that Miles Sanders was wide open. I think that was the play. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I would have much rather had sent Micah and dropped back LVE. But sometimes you got to mix it up, I guess. But I feel confident that Dan Quinn will come back around. I do. Feel confident we'll come back around. Man, lots of calls. So, because my last one leads me into X Factors. What time are we? We 9, 10, 11. We cool. All right, let's, who was next? I think Shavance was next. Doc and Coach Marv, and then we'll move into X Factors. We'll leave it at that. What you got for us, Shavance?
All right, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I want to say I'm proud of these boys after that last game. I know it was a loss. To be honest, when the season started, I didn't think we would go much better than 500 in the division, maybe 4 out of 6. But we played hard, and we had backups and we had guys hurt. We played hard, we played well, and I think we learned a lot facing that Eagles offense with their scheme. I kind of expected their coaching to bring something to trick us up a little bit, and that RPO sure was enough. Because I was telling people all week, we can guard your pass, and we can even kind of stop your run, but it's that dual threat that's going to give us problems, and it did.
Yep.
Going forward, I feel really good. We're getting guys back. We're getting Dak back. And I don't know if he's going to come out of the gates guns blazing, but I know, we all know he's a competitor. He's got to be chomping at the bit. So I'm really excited to see him come back out.
Yeah. I'm with you.
As far as the Lions game, all I can say is we're going to win. I don't know how, but I know we will.
Yeah, I feel good about this game too, and I don't necessarily think it's a trap game. This is not a good Lions football team, but they're a football team that's going to play hard, and they are coming off of a bye. I think that's the biggest advantage they have right now is that they're coming off of a bye after a week where they saw some things that worked against the Cowboys. So maybe they'll try those things, but I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Maybe at first it might be a bit competitive. I'm not saying it's going to be clean. Maybe your defense gives up some touchdowns. Maybe your offense turns the ball over or something like that. But I do think this is a better football team, man.
Given the situation, no game is a trap game this year right now because we have the Giants and the Eagles we have to keep pace with. So we have to win every game.
Right. Exactly. Appreciate the call, Shavance. Good stuff.
Yep. Welcome. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Let's get to Doc and then Coach Marv. What's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? That's hilarious.
Good morning. Yeah. And how you doing this morning, sir?
I am good, man. As your audio sounds a bit funny, man, but I think I can hear you good enough. What's up?
Hold on. Let me get to this one. Can you hear me clearer now?
There we go, Doc. There goes that smooth jazz radio voice. You're listening to the Doc.
You're definitely ready for that this morning, sir.
What's up?
Let me just say to you, I am impressed. I'm impressed with our team. This is a family event, so we got to talk about the family together.
Mm-hmm.
Before I go into my little interlude, let me just say, Vach and you are classic, brother.
Thank you.
That last phone call y'all had with that dude on there, man, I am still laughing about that.
The Eagle fan?
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy, man.
That was beautiful. Yeah, that dude. That was beautiful. Classic, okay? But I do want to say to all Cowboy Nation, okay, relax. This is about to get beautiful. I can't wait. So sit back, relax. Let's get our pom-poms ready and start cheering because it's about to go down. We are competing. That's what we need. The defense is ready. Offense is back on course. And the special teams is about to explode. I just wanted to say a few things this morning, how impressed I am with you guys. I've been sitting back and relaxed all year.
Yeah.
I hadn't said a word. I couldn't take it no more. So I had to get on the phone this Friday. I will see, it's the birthday run again. I'm coming back out there to see you guys again. We're going to talk. And I need Vach in the building.
He's coming, actually, this year. He said he's coming down to a game, so I'll let y'all know when Vach comes down, and we can all kick it for the game.
Already.
Nah,
I'm not gonna hold you long because you know how I do it. But Families in the air, and we're going to wave our hands like we just don't care. So y'all get ready to pump it up this weekend. Our boy, the captain, is back. Let's dance.
Let's ride. Can I get a let's ride?
Let's ride. Everybody, all aboard. It's time to dance.
Doc, I appreciate you, Doc. Thank you, man.
Listen, man. Hey, 100 on you guys. I'm so proud of you. And Mr. Steele, when you go ahead and make that move, you know, they got that vacancy ready for you. When you go ahead and make that move, don't forget the little people.
I don't know if I want to make that move just yet. I like it. I like it right here, man. I like what I got going on with y'all. So if it's in the cards, it's in the cards, right?
You know we don't want to see you make no move, but hey, future is future. Everybody got to dance at some point.
You're right. Thank you, Doc.
Okay? And we proud family keep moving on up this ladder. It's family. So no doubt.
No doubt.
Nothing but love.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, everybody in the Cowboy Nation, have a blessed day. And the Diggy will see you again.
Yes, sir. That's
Peace,
right.
dude.
Enjoy your weekend.
That's right. Already.
Yo, Doc. Yo, you cannot tell me Doc wasn't on no radio station back in the day. You can't tell me it. I mean, he's just so smooth with it. You know, I couldn't. If my lady listening, turn it off. Turn it off. Doc hits you at the very end. No matter what he say, at the very end, it's just smooth. He could be insulting you. You ain't shit. Yo, mama so fat. I love it, though. Doc smooth as hell, man. Shit. What's up, B-Wee? $5 donation. He said, let's go, fam. Appreciate you, man. Doc, need to call in more often, man. All right, Coach Marv, another fellow smooth voice. What's good with you, Coach?
What's going on, Scott? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you feeling after last week?
Hey, man, long time no talk to.
Yes, sir.
But I see y'all making moves, man. Y'all making moves, man. I love y'all. Y'all work, man. Love y'all work, man. But you know something? You were just talking about something, Scott. I think that the Cowboy Nation needs to understand, and I heard you earlier this week when people was talking about how bad the defense played, but it didn't play as bad. Anytime you have to run the ball 40 times to get 130 yards, that don't mean that we were just getting killed in the run game. We were just having moments, in big moments, where we didn't stop the running game.
Right.
But if you have to chop the wood 39 times to get 130 some yards, that means that our offense was not being consistent enough to win the time of possession where you could not chop at the tree as much.
100%.
So
can I ask you something? Can I ask you something real quick? Because a lot of people come back to that last drive where the defense didn't get that stop. So I went back and I wanted to take a look at that drive like intently. Like what were the turning points in that drive? And I'm pretty sure you already went back and watched. I look at that 3rd and 4. Where I believe they were on their side of the field, and Dan Quinn lines up, I think it was Jaron Kearse and Anthony Barr and the A-gaps. They do the sugar blitz, right? It looks like we're going to send 6. And then for whatever reason, and I screamed this to Jesse, why didn't we blitz? He pulls them back, and we only send 4. And not only do they pull them back, Anthony Barr gets kind of caught up, floating right, following a tight end or receiver, and it just opens up the floodgates. It just opens up the sea right in front of Jalen Hurts, and he scrambles for 5 yards, and he gets the first down. So, up until that point, it wasn't like they were just running all over you, but they got a very important first down right there. And then as the drive continues, and they're getting little 4 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard, and then 2nd and 10. They go back to throw the rock. And they get a slant to A.J. Brown, who turns it from like a 7-yarder into a 22-yard gain. And the next play, touchdown, I think it was, or next couple plays, touchdown. So I don't think that drive was as bad as it looked. It was just, I think that Dan Quinn should have stuck with his guts and blitzed Jalen Hurts on both of those plays. And I think maybe we're talking about something different here. But I just wanted to know if you saw that 3rd and 4 play that kind of irked me a little bit.
Yeah, and see, I think what we got, see, this would. this one magnifies the McCarthy decision to go, magnifies the mistake of going for it on fourth down when you were down 14 points.
Yeah, that was silly.
See, you giving points away because you have to trust your defense to say, okay, I'm going to make them drive more than just 2 times 80 yards.
Right.
Because Philly was really playing scared because they didn't go to a drop-back game because they were scared to go to a drop-back game, which Tampa was scared to go to a drop-back game. They would say, let's get the ball out of hands. Let's try to slow this rush down by running the football. But what happened in both of these games that we lost is that our offense was not consistent enough and dedicated to just getting first downs.
Sure.
See, when you just get first downs, you kind of get the clock. Time possession was very important in these type of games because if we get time possession, we rush the other offense up where they don't have time to be patient, and then that falls into our defense's hands where we can pressure them. That's why just getting first downs in the first half was important. And with our offense, we took 2nd and 1s and 2nd and 2s and threw the ball and didn't get first downs, which put Philly in a place where they had short fields from turnovers, plus gave them a feeling of being patient.
Yeah,
that's when I think where we gotta do is one of the most important things for this season for this defense, for our team construction of how our team is. Time possession has to turn around with the Cowboys. Yes. And I think with Dak Prescott, the time possession, if we can get the time possession, then our defense the other team would get a little bit faster. We'll get turnovers, and then we can do explosive plays. But time of possessions and first downs is the most important thing to this defense and this construction of this team to play well, because if you ain't got much time to play on this defense, you can't attack this defense fast. We too fast and we get out the quarterback too quick.
Brother,
but if you have time to chop at the tree and be patient and take 2 here, 3 there, and do these tricks and do this stuff like that, be patient, that slows our defense down. But if we get teams to speed up offensively, we can turn them over, and then the explosive plays that come from our offense. I think our offense needs to get, when you're in the first half of a big game, Sky, I always coach like this. First downs are important.
Yeah.
Get your team in the rhythm. If you can get a first down, second down, get the first down first, because that kind of frustrates the other defense because we start a new down set. And that's what they did to us, and that's what we have to do going forward. And that's what the running game and short passing game will come in and then allow our defense to set us up in points where we can be explosive and take those big plays.
I tell you what, part of the time of possession situation is why I think we haven't seen the peak level of this defense yet, Coach. Like this defense has basically been playing with, losing the time, being out on the field much longer than the offense has been. So just imagine if you get to a point where you're starting to win the time of possession battle, now your defense is out there fresher than ever, majority of the game, not having to labor throughout the game. And you saw that in the first half against Philly. They held the ball for almost 20 minutes. 20 minutes of a half. That is a lot to ask for your defense, man. And then they got the ball 3 times from the 40-yard line and in.
That's right. And see, that's where that was decision of, that's actually a turnover when you turn the ball over in your territory. So that's, you had 2 turnovers prior to that. And so what you did is you took a chance to add another turnover, and you didn't have no really advantage for doing that because your offense is not explosive. So if you did get the first down, the odds of you scoring from the 35 and going another 65 yards was not really good at that particular time because you wasn't rolling. So you had to take a chance to say, let's punt them deep because the last 2 possessions, they had great field position.
Yeah.
Let's see what they'll do with bad field position and see if our defense can make a turnover or get them in a situation where we can get a short field to score. But see, those are key things, guys. That might not look pivotal in a game like when we play in Detroit, which is, I'm not discrediting Detroit. That might not be with Chicago. But when you get in big games like the San Francisco game, playoff game last year, the Philadelphia game this year, in bigger games, Tampa game, the sideline decisions have to be conducive to helping your team win and put them in the best decision, because they count. Those sideline decisions can count 3 to 7 points, and if you don't do them well, you put your team at a disadvantage. And that's where we think we need to really get better in thinking on the sideline. The sideline has to get better.
I agree, Coach Marv. Appreciate your wisdom as always, calling in, good sir.
Keep on pushing, brother.
Thanks, fam. Have a good weekend.
You too.
That might have been the first major gaffe, I think, for Coach Mike McCarthy and whomever else is responsible for helping him out, was that decision. I'm pretty sure he'd want that back. He might not want to admit it, but he definitely would want that back. I'd challenged it. We already went over this, but I love what Coach said. You know, in these type of games, right? We have what we called last year. I think it was like, I forget what the term was. Somebody called in, but we I think it was Mel. We talked about like these pivotal games, and not every game is important, but there's certain games like checkmark games where it's like, okay, things are risen, right? The pressure is a little higher. Every possession matters in football, period, but every possession really matters. Every decision matters. And there was two, I got to start categorizing these things. My guy calls them critical errors, but shout out to Pat Walker. That was one critical error to me. I think another, I don't know if I call this a critical error, but at the end of the half, when you had a chance to score 7 points on that third down play, whether it was a check play, whatever it was, we elected to go mirror routes, which made no sense to me. And you left the middle of the field, you know, no one was there. I feel like you need to use the whole field, give yourself a chance, because you have to score here. You didn't score, and instead of getting 7, you got 3, and the rest is history. But that's behind us. We move forward. We got to make sure we clean these things up against the Detroit Lions. So here's what we're going to do, man. This next segment, well, the last part of our I Said What I Said will lead into the next segment, which is the X Factors. And that'll be, we'll just say that's brought to you by our guys over at Boston Scientific. ED can affect your self-esteem and impact your most important relationships. So take a free online assessment that you can share with your doctor. Click the ad in the description of this video, of this stream, depending when you're watching. There's a permanent, satisfying solution to treat ED. Visit edcure.org to get the facts and find a urologist who can offer treatment options that work when others do not. Again, that's edcure.org, sponsored by Boston Scientific.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Somebody said, Kellen Moore is clicking it right now. Picture of Sky getting off the roller coaster. The Kellen clicking it. Hold on. Do I want to play this? I'm not going to play it, but go on either my Twitter or Vach's Twitter. We retweeted. I don't know the dude's name. Shout out to this guy. He makes fantastic edits of the Vach and Boy live show where we're just being goofy. And he made an edit of that Kellen Moore situation. Hilarious. The edit of the year so far. In fact, we had other creators or Cowboys media retweeting it or posting it, and I wonder, does he see that? I doubt it. He's probably not on Twitter, but somebody probably sent it to him. It's too funny, man. Go check it out. I'm not going to play it on here, but go check it out. All right, it's time to wrap up. I said what I said, which is going to lead into our X Factors, and then we'll finish up on the phone lines. I appreciate y'all for holding tight over there. If you want to go out and Blue Star Chips or Blue Star Clips is his name. If you guys want to go out and come back in on the phones, I'm cool with that, because some of these things you aren't going to be able to hear on the phone anyway. But let's wrap up. I said what I said.
I said what I said.
Here we go. The last part of I said what I said. Who said this?
everybody's got to do their job and try not to do everybody else's. Just hone in on your specific job.
Who said that? Everybody's got to do their job and try not to do everybody else's. Just hone in on your specific job.
I said what I said.
D-Law, McCarthy, Reeks guy, Mickey Mouse, and Elf. DQ, gotta be Quinn, LVE, DQ, Micah, Talking Tom the Cat, Diggs, Micah. Y'all, a lot of y'all are right in here. I say Dan Quinn, Alvin the Chipmunks. Sounds like LVE talking to Micah. Yeah, he did say that a couple years ago, didn't he? But it wasn't Micah. Dan Snyder, Kellen Moore, actual voice. You guys are right. It was LVE. He and let's be frank here, Micah as well. I stopped it right after Micah, but he and LVE talked about guys doing their job. But I'm going to let LVE go ahead and explain it to you guys here. You can kind of see the frustration in LVE.
What would be your review of the run defense and its growth from week one, where you started against Tampa to where you are right now?
Yeah, I think we're developing. Obviously, I think we've taken strides here and there. But like I said, we still got things to clean up. And I think that's obvious after last game, too. So everybody's just got to do their job and not try and do everybody else's or somebody else's job. Just hone in on your specific job on the defense and take pride in that and doing that to the best of your ability, and we'll be fine.
Somebody said Reek turned the stream off and he's triggered. Yeah. LVE and Micah Parsons for that matter. I think Micah really wanted to go in, but he had to calm down. Micah said something along the lines of, to be honest with you, I felt like I did my job. But we just have to go out there and do our jobs and not let the bright lights and yada, yada, yada. And then LVE comes back and says the same thing. We just got to hone in on a specific job. We just got to go out there and do our jobs. Everybody has to do what they're supposed to do, et cetera, et cetera. To me, you can tell this was a talking point in the film room when they went back and looked. And if I had to guess, I think it was a lot from the third level. I do. And some of it, obviously, we talk about this on Vacha shows that the edge, sometimes you give away that edge, and we'll get into that in the X Factors. But I think they were frustrated with certain guys not doing their jobs and maybe their own selves. I watched LVE jump a wrong lane and all of that. But I think this is the perfect week to come back and hone in and do your job. And it may not be a statement game. But the defense, and LV talked about this actually with the reporters, the defense should make this a statement game for themselves in regards to the run game, because Detroit is going to try to run the ball on you, and they're going to do some similar Ram-ish. Who else did that? A little bit of the Giants, a little bit of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going to do some things that are very similar, but they're going to do it early and often, and they're not going to stop. So this is going to be a game, I think, where the Cowboys' run defense can kind of say, hey, we're figuring this thing out. Or it could be a game if they get ran over. It's like, hey, we in trouble. But that leads me into the X Factors for this week. And got to start off with LVE and Anthony Barr. He just talked about everybody doing their jobs. That includes LVE and Anthony Barr. I think they're going to have to play more downhill on Sunday. You'll get some eye candy sideline to sideline stuff, but don't get it twisted. We showed you guys what Detroit likes to do. They like to play smash mouth football in between the tackles and outside too. You can play smash mouth football with tosses. You can get these big boys moving. So I just think they're going to have to play downhill much better than they have been recently. Or at least in the last game, which, again, that's tough because now they got you guessing a lot. But even if you don't make the play, LVE or Barr, you got to blow up that gap, right? You got to blow up that guard or that fullback or that tight end pulling, whoever it is. And you're going to have to deal with some tough backs. There's some tough back. Like if Swift is coming back, he's going to make it tough on you. Jamal Williams is going to try to run through you. Some good backs. It's a good running team. And I'm very interested to see how they respond because the run defense is the quote unquote Achilles heel of the Cowboys right now. I don't think it's as bad as what we're making it out to be, but it is the Achilles heel. And you don't want to get into the playoffs and you're still trying to figure out your run defense. So I think they should take it personally. LV also had this quote, y'all. We've always taken an extreme amount of pride on the defensive side of the ball, but I feel like we've taken it upon ourselves. He said, upon ourselves, like, yo, we got the crew this year to take it all the way. So we just got to stick together and not let one loss or some mistakes divide us and really just keep the brotherhood that we have going and know that we're going to keep building off that week by week and just taking one game at a time. I might be reading into this a little bit more, but I think you can see that there's some frustration from that last game and they're trying not to let that crack them, right? Like, I don't want to say there's finger pointing. It's just like, all right, man, we got to be better. We got to be better. The other one is edge containment. I feel like I'm talking to you, Donovan Wilson, which is why I have him up there. Because I think Donald lost some containment a lot last week. And that scheme forces you to make some decisions. And he wasn't making the correct ones. And it cost a couple yards. It wasn't always like a huge run, but it was a big enough run where now that you're in front of the sticks, you hardly got them behind the chains. You hardly did. And I just feel like you're going to have to force things back inside this week if they don't want to force it back inside in general, because they do a lot of inside stuff too. And the best guy for that is DeMarcus Lawrence. We know D-Law has been your best run guy all year. He's been your best run defensive lineman all year. And I think he does a fantastic job doing his job. But we're going to need everybody. It's going to be a total team effort to contain these edges because Detroit, if you go look at the first game against the Eagles, they got outside a lot. They got outside against Minnesota as well. And if it's one thing that was a consistent issue was teams running outside. Now, Philly didn't necessarily do that a lot, but the other games, you had some problems containing that edge. So I do feel like you need to contain that edge better this game. You really do. And then the final X factor I have is establish run action. I didn't say establish the run, which comes with that, but establish run action. And I said it on purpose. Everybody wants to establish the run. But I need the Cowboys to build off of that run action that they did last week, that you were able to get some play action, right? Not just normal running up the A-gaps that we've seen in the past, but a lot of that pre-snap, post-snap action. Get Zach Martin moving. Get these big boys pulling. Get these traps going. Everybody got traps in their playbook, but still, establish that action because you can build off of it. And I think it will set that tone moving forward. And I'm very adamant about this with Dak back because obviously in Cowboys Nation and even in, I guess, in national media, there's this thought process that, hey, Cowboys ain't going to run the ball no more. Set the tone moving forward. I don't care if it's Detroit. I do not care. I don't care if it's the worst run defense. I do not care. Establish the run action, build off of that, and let people know moving forward, we're going to run this rock. You have to stop it. I don't care that Dak is back. And now that you are planning to stop it, we got a quarterback that's better equipped to take advantage of it. I said this earlier in the week. I'm very interested to see if guys are going to come out here and play this shell coverage this year. I know it's still only week 7, and this was right about the time where things got weird last year with the offensive line not able to block for, but I don't know about this year, bruh. This year they blocking in that run game, and Kellen is showing some consistency, a little bit of consistency in his creativity in the run game. So now I just got to be more consistent within the game. But from week to week, we've been running the ball. So set that tone moving forward. And if you want to, because I saw somebody say, they're going to blitz that. Blitz them? We forget Dak Prescott was, I think, the best or one of the best passers against the blitz last year. That makes things easier. Now I got one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb, one-on-one with Michael Gallup, Ferguson. I would love to start using these backs more on these blitzes. But sure. Wasn't the blitz that gave the Cowboys problems last year. So those are some of my X factors for the Detroit Lions game. I mean, listen now. There's no offense to the Lions. You should be able to handle this team. But you do got to do these things and other things to get it done. Los, what's up with you, man?
Good morning, Sky. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good morning, man. Hey, real quick, just my 2 points. Hey, Tony and Zeke touches, it doesn't matter how many touches they're going to get because I believe it's how you're going to use their touches. Because if you're just putting them up the middle all game, it doesn't mean anything. So you're going to have to put them in the best position. And that's basically like for any week, honestly. I can always tell you our running and blocking scheme is the most important to our scoring. And I'm telling you, Sky, when Detroit starts stacking that box, look for Dak to put a ball one-on-one down the field on the sideline, either Gallup, Brown, or CD. And I don't care who's on the receiving end,
right,
as long as you're aggressive and go to your best matchup. Because the Detroit are going to give you opportunities. I just want to see if Dak is going to take them. And my last point to close is you already knocked it off the head. Contain Brown and Swift from the home, because one thing that the Detroit Lions wants to do is get to your second level of defense constantly.
Can you run that back? You said contain what?
Contain Brown and Swift.
Oh, Swift. I thought you said Brown and Sweat. You're talking about Jamal Williams and Swift, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, because one thing they want to do is run up to your second level of your defense all the time. So
you mean the line wants to get to the second level? I mean, all running backs want to get to the second level, but you mean yeah.
So the Lions want to get to your defense second level, and if the Lions are doing that constantly, they're playing to their tempo of their game. And one thing is, like, if they keep Goff limited under 30 pass attempts, they're playing into their strength. They're playing into your. So let's see. We got to make him pass the ball. So let's see if we can be more physical to them up front and make them pass the ball. And I think this is going to be a game. I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to be dominant, but I'm saying this is a game where we can work towards stepping stones to be offensively and defensively dominant throughout the game, to basically your offense help your defense and your defense help your offense.
Complementary.
And I think it's perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because if we're being completely honest, the offense hasn't really been a complimentary offense, if we're being real. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I think this is it, man. I think this is an opportunity for the Cowboys to be as complimentary football as possible, but it's going to be up to the coaching staff and the game plan we come up this week, to see if we can execute it. Indeed. And I'll leave you with this note, Sky. Mm-hmm. I know you hate primetime games, but we only have 2 primetime games left in our schedule.
For real?
Most of these weeks, 2 of them, which is Colts and Titans.
Well, for now. Well, what about I think the Eagles are on primetime at the end of the year, no? And then you got Thanksgiving. That's going. Let me tell you right now, that's going to be moved to primetime. So you got me hyped for nothing. We got the Thanksgiving game, which is basically primetime to me. And then you said Colts and Titans, and they're going to move another one at the end of the year. We got 4, man.
Yeah, so basically my point with that is, like, my thing is I think Cowboys have always played better when they're playing earlier or when it's just like the first game out the way. And with this remaining schedule, we have a good chance to come out. Like, basically, I'm not trying to look too far ahead. I'm really not. But basically, come this schedule, like, I really like our chances and just basically who we're going against and what time, because I really do feel that the more Cowboys start off early, I think the more we just get into our zone and just go off. And that's all I have to leave with that, Sky.
All right, man. Appreciate you. If we could control them playing at 12, but that's not going to ever happen. Like, Cowboys are going to be playing if you play in the playoffs, they're going to be probably playing in a 3-something slot, which, let's be honest, is like prime time for Cowboys, or America's game of the week, or they're going to be playing at night. All right? They're going to be playing at night. Yeah, Thanksgiving, Colts, Christmas Eve, Titans, and possibly a flex. Yeah, it did. That didn't sound right, too. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, dude. We know they're going to flex us out. I can't stand them. I vote for 12 o'clock games all the time, and it ain't got nothing to do with the Cowboys winning. I don't like late games. My writing brother, what's up?
Hey, good morning, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
And the show. God bless you and the show and the family, like always. I just want to say a couple of things real quick. I think Dak is going to play his best football now that he has really sat down and looked at the team and knowing that now he don't got to do everything. Because I think before he had a lot of pressure. Now he realizes that he got everybody, contributing to the situation. And my second thing is the defense is going to play much better now that they know that Dak is behind the quarterback situation, because they did good with Cooper Rush in the situation, but it's not like when you got somebody like him that can make plays when you really need plays to be made. And also, too, what I wanted to comment on what the coach said about the Mike McCarthy situation. I really, really think that was a critical challenge that he had to take, because if he would have took that challenge, Sky, I really think that we would have won that game, or we would have had a better chance to win it, because our defense was gassed. By the third quarter, we was gassed. That defense was gassed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you really look at it, they played, but if you know about football, you coach football, and you can tell that that the defense was tired.
Well,
that's all I got for today. And hope that that we win this weekend, which I know we'll win. Ain't no hope we will win this weekend.
My man.
God bless you and the family and the show, like always.
You as well, man. Have a good weekend, good brother. Yeah, they were once you got to that fourth quarter, it was the third quarter that felt like they were riding that adrenaline and that momentum, and things were working out. But then it got to that fourth quarter, and it just, again, a couple critical plays, third and fourth, they show the blitz and they don't, which I did not like that. And then the 2nd and 10 slant. It was a great kind of pick play, too. I hope an adjustment we make moving forward is we press. We're playing so far off against Philly. I didn't like that. Make them beat us downfield. Make them beat us downfield if that's the case. Because you're inviting all this space, and it's just, and especially for a one-read RPO, yeah, they weren't showing any evidence of I'm going to take a deep shot. Everything was I'm going to run, I'm going to throw a quick out, or a quick slant, or whatever it is, or a mesh route, or whatever, drag. Nothing was deep, so that one frustrated me. 2nd and 10, you're playing 7 to 10 yards off. I think it was tight end gets up, does kind of an out, picks AB, makes AB go around, wide open underneath, catches it, and if you've been watching A.J. Brown all year, he's been catching it and going back to the outside, spinning and getting extra yak, and that's exactly what happened, man. So I think those were two critical plays on that drive. I think if you, at the very least, incomplete pass, obviously it's 3rd and 10, or if you tackle him, now you make it tough on him on third and short, but it is what it is. 870 called up in here. Don't quite. What's good? Who this?
Hey, man, this Henny DeMoore, ATM Sports, brother. Big fan of your program, brother.
Thank you, good sir. Appreciate you, man. What's the company you with?
Hey, ATM Sports, man. I be doing shows with West Coast.
ATM Sports, man. Well, West Coast. Shout out to Tyson and them. What's up with you?
Yeah. So, man, hey, I was just giving a call, man. Talk about this Lions matchup. And, like, I know a bunch of folks saying it's a trap game. I don't think it's a trap game, but I also don't think the Detroit Lions are a team that's going to just, roll over for us either.
Right.
They got a very good offensive line. They only allowed 7 sacks this year. And they got a center I wanted. He's an all-pro center. Played at Arkansas. Right where I'm from. So I always wanted that boy on the roster. So it's going to be a tough matchup, especially you know, we do have some deficiencies in the run in what our run defense.
Mm.
You know, we have for the past couple of years. You know, but we can do things to overcome that. You know, we can get teams out of running the ball. We can get enough points on them. So, you know, that's why I'm glad that a guy like Dak Prescott is back under center. You know, he affords us to do a lot more things in the passing game. And, you know, I know a lot of folks were on the Cooper Rush bandwagon, but you can't say that a guy like Dak Prescott, who by the way is fifth all time in career completion percentage. You know, they act like he's an inaccurate quarterback, but a guy like that coming back under center, you know, you can do a lot of things in the passing game, especially off of play action. He's one of the top-rated play action quarterbacks in football, one of the more accurate quarterbacks in downfield passing, so he can really add a next level to the passing game that we struggled at so far this year.
100. What else
yeah, man. I think we can. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what else you got, man? Because I have nothing to add to that, bro. Everything you said was on the money.
Hey, that's it, man. Like, hey, I'm up here riding down to the country, just give a call into your show, man. I tell you, I appreciate the content and keep going, brother.
Thank you, man. What is it? ATM? Let them know where to find you, man. ATM Sports.
It's gonna be HTM Sports on Facebook, YouTube. Yeah.
HTM Sports, y'all. Hit them up. Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate the call, good brother. I think you went out. I think you had connections issues here. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree at all. You know what I mean? I think what happened though is week 1 happened. You know? San Francisco happened. So that's what's fresh on everybody's mind. And you know, that's cool, but be logical, okay? Don't be like the weirdo on Undisputed. Jesus. People be sending me stuff. Somebody sent me something in my DMs on Instagram, and dude wrote a whole letter or something. I'm going to miss you, Cooper Rush. Relax. Relax, guys. 240. What's up with you?
How you doing?
I'm
How
good,
you doing,
man.
Will to Steal?
Will to Steal. That's
All right.
so funny, man, because that's my son has a little nickname with that, Will to Steal. What's up, though?
This Charlie G, man. I'm always on y'all line, man. But look, man, I'm happy that Dak is coming back, man. But it's just questions where you like, hey, go ahead and blitz him. I beg to differ when we talk about blitzing Dak now because I go back to the first game. Even though, you know what I mean, he didn't play in the preseason and stuff like that, I believe we don't have the same receivers.
That's true.
Like Amari Cooper that can take one side of the field and then he'd be like, well, I got CD open, or well, I got Cedric Wilson open, or well, I got this going on. I just believe that, man, it's going to be hard for I believe we're going to smack the Lions down. What I mean by that, I think we're going to put up at least with that coming back and we run the ball. I believe we're going to beat them 28 to like 17, in my opinion. That's what I do believe. But I believe that Dak will probably have, let's say, 2 of those touchdowns coming back. But the problem is we don't have, in my opinion,
you saying he's going to get 2 touchdowns. I thought you meant like coming back from penalty. You mean him coming in, he'll get 2 touchdowns. Gotcha.
Yes, absolutely. I believe he'll score 2 touchdowns as far as either throwing the ball or at least running for one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I'm actually, I understand what you're saying, though, about not having the same receivers. This is very true. However, I've watched him be blitzed and have one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb and get the ball to CeeDee Lamb. I watched him have one-on-one with Amari Cooper and get the ball to, I'm not saying every time, right? I'm not saying he's 100% completion, right? He didn't throw any interceptions. No. He's had issues from time to time, but he also has routinely been pretty good against it. But I think we also have to take in account that maybe the tight ends get involved now again, right? You know, one thing that I thought we didn't see with Cooper Rush when he was blitzed, now, and he actually was okay against the blitz. But one thing we didn't see was Cooper Rush get to his hot. A lot of the times he just was going, right? First read, I'm throwing it there through hell or high water. Whereas the tight end, maybe he's going up the seam. Maybe he goes up and he sees it's a blitz, and I sit down 8 yards, and boom, now I turn 8 to 12 because ASAP Ferg can get you a couple yards. So I still welcome it. I hear what you're saying. Maybe be cautious because it's his first game back, I guess. But I still welcome it, man, because if you get one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb down the field or Michael Gallup down the field or Schultz or Ferguson down the seam, I like my chances. I just don't like my chances if a free guy comes.
I feel what you're saying, and I'm with you. But the problem is with Kellen Moore and his lineups, he not even giving the young cats no burn as far as the tight ends. And I do believe Hendershot and Ferguson have the speed. And I want to say
Turpin
if you
too,
give
bro.
them time,
Turpin,
they're not even using him. And I'm not even saying you got to use it for a gadget play. Just line him out there in the slot and see what he can do. Because if you got him in the slot and CD outside, you got two dominant receivers, in my opinion.
Oh man,
and they're not doing that, so,
bro. Yeah. I'm hoping that something switches up with Dak back in regards to Turpin. Like you said, and I know he's little, I know he's miniature, whatever, but I have no idea why you don't put him out there and send him on an over route and say, you want to blitz me? I'm gonna just tell Turpin to go get it.
And I think they will do that now that Dak is back. I mean, I understand because we have, and a lot of fans don't like Dak. I don't know why, because he has shown you time and time again the boy can actually ball, man. It's not his fault that in big spots of a game,
recency bias,
that your coaching staff don't put you in the best position to win the game. Because there's times that where I look at life like this. If this, let's say it's first down, you run the ball. Zeke get 5 yards, so it's 2nd and 5. Why do you come back and run a gadget play that now you either get a holding penalty, which is on the offense, or you also get a point that now we in second and 15 because we ran the gadget play and lost 10 yards or 12 yards. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they always.
Yeah, that's
in
an
a bad
extreme
spot of a game.
That's an extreme example. We can go on a smaller scale when you look at it sideways. The first possession, I think it was in the Washington game or what was the game before the Rams? Washington game and the Rams game. You get 5 yards to Zeke. Next play, you go empty. It's like, to me,
Hey,
what
Will, what
is the point?
Hey, Will, you want to know what else is bad? What else is bad is when you're running the ball and you're getting good chunk yards, and then you just start trying to throw the ball with Cooper Rush. And I'm worried they're going to do the same thing with Dak once they get into a good rhythm of a run game and you just go away from it. You got to know how to work your personnel, man. That's the only problem I have with.
That's a fair concern, and we talked about that yesterday, Charlie G. We talked about it yesterday. That's a fair concern. My hope, if I had an optimistic view on it, is one, Mike McCarthy. And believe it or not, Dak Prescott. Like, we forget for about 3.5 years or so, Dak was involved in an offense where it was like, oh, all right, we can run this thing. I don't have to feel like I got the world on my shoulders and I got to carry it, right? And we also forget, he was like, oh, the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks last year, I turn around, hand the ball off, we'll play off the play action. They did that successfully. And then the final thing is, one second. The final thing is, Dak has said multiple times now, he said, it's not anything I'm going to share with y'all, but just know things are different, right? I see things different. I understand things different. There's a different perspective on this team. So I actually have confidence in Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. It's the question mark becomes Kellen Moore, and that's just me. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's the rest of everybody too.
Absolutely. I got one more thing, and I don't mean you could talk all day long because we on the same page.
It's good stuff though.
Do you think they're going to hand the keys to Dak on that offense when he's in the shotgun, or rather he's in a formation that he can look at the defense and be like, hey, I'm gonna check out of this pass Kellen Moore. I'm about to
absolutely. I'm not saying you don't hand him the keys. You give Dak the keys. Like, again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Let's not get it twisted. This is not Cooper Rush. This is Dak Prescott.
Hey, let's get back. Let's get back to doing the option stuff too. With,
right.
Now that Dak's back, where he can get on the outside and do the Jalen Hurts shit too. I think that's what we need to start doing. Is because they beat us at our own game. That Philly didn't really win that game. I'm gonna be real with you. To me, if Dak was playing, yes, I think we would have spanked Philly. That's just my opinion. But we beat ourselves in that game to even get it back to 17-20 and let them drive down the field. If we had a better option at quarterback, I'm sorry, guys. Please stop telling me Cooper Rush is better than Dak because he's winning. Y'all not looking at the overall picture. I get it. But if Dak was playing that game, we could have done some things and beat them at their own game. But they beat us at our game, and it's coaching. That's just what it was that game. I blame coaching that game. Point blank period.
Yeah,
I mean, too much and all that.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. I think coaching probably gets a big share, and then right after that, Cooper Rush, and then right after that, I guess your defense at the end of the game. But it's hard to pinpoint one particular person Collective effort as usually it is, man. But appreciate you, Charlie G.
Don't forget me, Will. This is Charlie G, man. Don't forget me. I'm always around, man.
I got you, brother. For whatever reason, I gotta delete this call thing here because it's not letting me set the names no more. But I see you in here. The call ID says Charles G. So I got you, bro.
I got you. I'm gonna see you at 4:00, man.
Yes, sir.
I got you.
Well, no, not today.
Right.
Not today. We don't go on Fridays.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yep. Check me out Sunday.
All right.
Game Day Live, bro.
Bet, brother.
Yes, sir. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me clarify though when I say hand the keys. I should have locked them. The call lines are done, by the way, y'all. I don't mean hand the keys and throw the ball 50 times. I mean, yes, you still allow him to make the decisions at the line of scrimmage. That they were doing that with Cooper Rush, believe it or not. A lot of people don't want to talk about that, but they were. And he would either check into a play or out of a play. That's football. That's another reason why he need to get back here, because I think people are just forgetting exactly the type of quarterback he is and can be because of recency bias, man. So I'm excited for it. They ain't got to unload the clip though, but I'm excited because he needs to get this thing going. And he may miss some passes. There's some rust. Hell, he might throw an interception. The world doesn't need to burn down from it. My man has thrown 29 passes since January in an actual game. So it may look rusty, which is another reason why I kind of want to establish the run action. And I don't want to throw the ball 40 times in this. I don't think we need to. Do all your 40, 50, 60, 70 throws in practice, and let's kind of ease this thing back in unless we need to now. Now we're down for whatever reason, and we got to throw. But I don't think we're going to need to do that, y'all. I don't. Let's get to some super chats. Got you, B-Wee, from earlier. I miss Below the Heavens. Is that? Yeah.
Super chat.
Shout out to you, $2 donation. He said Lions are 8-1-1 after a bye since 2012, I believe. I don't know, but if they are, it's a good record. I wouldn't say that has anything to do with now, because since 2012, how many head coaches they had since 2012? 4? A lot of head coaches probably since that time frame. But interesting statistic. Lemitra
Super chat
says he sounds like an ex-actor from the Mac. I think you're talking about Doc. And then my guy Landlow from Alabama. Appreciate you, dog. Doing some fantastic work on there, man. I love to come up over there. He says, what's happening, Sky and Bomb Squad? To his point, when Kellen was getting cute week 1, Dak was still bailing us out. Go watch the tape. Facts. Now, once you got, I think, when did he throw that interception? Second quarter? Third quarter? I think that's right where it got strange for him. But yeah, man, that game, and again, this is another reason why when people harp back on that game, I say either A, you're not a Cowboy fan. Let me take that back. Because there are some Cowboy fans who can't stand that man, and they do harp on that game. And we talked about it yesterday. A couple of them is nowhere to be found. But guess what? They will be coming back out like cockroaches the minute he throws an interception and the Cowboys lose a game. Best believe it. But I ain't seen those fans. Ain't seen those fans in a while. But I just truly do feel like Kellen Moore week 1 and Kellen Moore now has improved. And I know people don't like him. Throw tomatoes at me if you want. But he has. Maybe not to the point where we want it, but it's clear as hell. It's clear as day. They're not doing the things they were doing week 1. We want to credit Kelly, or we want to credit McCarthy. I'm cool with that because I do think McCarthy plays a huge part in that. And Detroit's going to be a great test, great litmus test to see, is it coach? Or is Kellen just like, man, look, I can't do what I want to do with this guy. Now I got Dak back. Let's let it fly. Let's ride. We'll see. I'm with the former. I think Coach McCarthy has a strong hold on this offense, y'all. And I think we will remain as balanced as possible. I don't need to be 30 for 30. Like I see a lot of people say 30 for 30, 30. That's unrealistic. It's not always going to happen that way. But I do want to make sure we establish the run action every single game. With Cooper Rush, it probably was more evident to be 30 for 30. with Dak back, I think it's more evident to be efficient and be what's the word I'm looking for here? Be adamant about the run game. Don't always got to be 32 carries. We'd love to get it. Doesn't got to be 35 carries. We'd love to get it because that means you're just blowing somebody out or you're just running all over them. But if it's 25, if it's 23, and those are 23 efficient carries, that will work too. That'll work too. So stick to it, man. All right, let's get up out of here. What y'all got in the chat? Good stuff today. We went a little bit longer than I thought we'd go, but it's because y'all, man, y'all the best. Jalen Hurts is in the chat. The Saints losing the Cardinals is Dak. Yo, I watched a little bit of that game, and when the last time somebody threw back-to-back pick sixes? I saw somebody on Twitter say was Kaepernick against the Cardinals, by the way, but back-to-back pick sixes, and then right before that, he threw an interception in the end zone, and then he threw 4 total touchdowns. What a game for Andy Dalton. Toxic said they close. They just hiding in plain sight. Oh. They probably watching, and then they just waiting to strike. You know how that goes. But like I said yesterday, we here. Win, lose, or draw, I'm here for it all. Whether it's Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, I'm here. I just asked for the same thing. Sky, what do you think Kellen Moore's... I don't know. Y'all ain't talking about nothing. Y'all damn sure ain't. Y'all ain't talking about not a damn thing. Flo said he looked like Tony Romo in Buffalo. Oh, man, I always go back to that game when people bring it up. I almost said something. Just shut up. Just know I had a sprained ankle from that game. I had a sprained ankle. All right, good stuff today, squad. Y'all were great. If y'all enjoyed the I Said What I Said segment,
I said what I said.
let me know. I might keep it around. Something different, something fun, just to switch it up a bit. I'm all about trying to maintain fresh flow on the show. You know what I mean? I know one thing y'all probably realize about me, I like to switch things up because I just like to be fresh as possible and make sure we have a good time doing it. So if y'all like it, well, we'll stick with it. I'll come up with some other cool segments as well. But appreciate y'all for being here. Let me see what y'all said. Salute. I said what I said was very cool. All right, cool. Dope segment. All right, keep it. All right, I like that. I appreciate that. Feedback is good, man. Whether it's constructive criticism or positive feedback, whatever, it's good. It lets me know what I need to fix or what works, and I keep it going. Trying to turn this thing into the real damn deal if it's not already. I told y'all last year I wanted to make this the #1 Cowboys morning show in the land. We ain't quite where I want to be yet, but we getting there, and it's because of y'all. They just said, man, it is what it is. You probably don't know what that person is. I said what I said, but we'll see what's up. No more Satan voice. I know I got to switch the voices here. I got to grab some new voices if they allow me to. I'm still working on how to deal with this new thing I got, man. But do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. If you enjoy the show, subscribe, of course, as always. If you can't get in a chat and you're figuring out why can't I communicate with the rest of the community, it's because you got to be a subscriber for at least 20 minutes. I'm never changing that. I love that. With that said, no show today, no volume show with Vasenborg Live. We will not have a show later on with Mauricio Rodriguez. Prime time will not be here, but he'll be back Sunday. I'll be back Sunday. Make sure y'all check me and my guy Jesse Holly out. If you're like, man, what you and Jesse Holly do? Let me see if I can find it. This is what we do, man. This is what we do.
I'm in my zone, on the road to the Super Bowl. Every game on the schedule crucial, it take a toll. It don't matter if we're at home or on the road. You try to tackle, I'll truck a sucker and take it soul. I'm staring at 4th and goal, gotta find an open hole. A linebacker just close a hole where I'm supposed to go. So now I'm thinking my centers are all pro, so I trust he can make a walk for wherever the ball go. Yeah, it's 5 seconds on the play clock. The crowd was loud, but they stopped. Now it's silent while they watch. They stand off in the red zone. All I see is red home. Watch me get this touchdown in this W and head
home. With that said, we up out of here. Pre-game, halftime, post-game. Check us out, me and Jesse Holly. And if you want to listen and build up to that, Cowboys 4th and Long. Search it on Apple, Spotify, Google, all that stuff. Holla at us. Love y'all. We out of here. Peace. Y'all be safe this weekend, man.
Bomb Squad!